In the quiet of dusk, some love stories don't erupt, they unfold quietly like tide meeting shore. I hadn't planned to come back. Not to Merrow's Hollow. Not to the house with the rusting mailbox and salt-stained windows. But sometimes, the past pulls you home before you even realize you've started walking. I returned for a funeral. My uncle, a man I barely knew, left me a house, and a lighthouse, and a lifetime of unanswered questions. The town was smaller than I remembered. Or maybe I'd just grown up. That's when I saw him again, Leo. He was taller than before, still barefoot half the time, and carried that same crooked smile like it was a secret he wasn't sure you deserved to hear. We weren't friends, not yet. We were just two people with a past shaped like the same coastline. The lighthouse had been left to rot, but Leo offered to help restore it. He was studying architecture now, salvaging old bones, he called it. I didn't ask why he never left town. He didn't ask why I did. We spent days sanding down old rails, nights sitting on the porch with beer and silence. I think I fell for him in the spaces between our words, in the way he looked at the sky like it could answer something. It wasn't a date, but I remember every moment of it like it was. A summer storm knocked out the power. I cooked with a flashlight between my teeth. Leo lit candles. Vinyl spun something slow and old. He reached out a hand. We danced, barefoot, laughing, close enough to hear each other breathe. For the first time, I let the thought stay in my mind. What if this wasn't just friendship? He didn't kiss me. I kissed him, and then pulled away like it burned. But he didn't let me. It happened slowly. Then all at once, I told him I'd be leaving soon. The city had called back. He said he knew. But there was a question in his eyes. I answered it. Sometimes love is too much. Sometimes you think walking away will protect you both. But sometimes, that's the thing that breaks everything. I packed. I left. But halfway down the coast, I turned around. By the time I reached the hollow, Leo was gone. His car at the cliff. A note, folded into my journal. I needed to know if you'd come back. Not because you had to. Because you chose to. I ran. I ran like the world would collapse behind me. And maybe it did. I found him standing at the edge, staring at the ocean like it had betrayed him. He turned to me. Said, I didn't want to jump. I just wanted to know you'd stop me. Then the cliff gave way. I remember the sound of my own scream. The rush of wind. The way his hand slipped through mine like mist. The sea held him. And I never got to say I love you. They never found him. Not really. Only his jacket. Only his watch. The town mourned him quietly, like they'd expected it all along. I stayed. In the lighthouse. And every night I left the light on. When the tides returns. Love doesn't end, it waits. I was still breathing. But it didn't feel like living. I spent 6 months pretending to be okay. Nights staring at the ocean. Days walking with no purpose. The world moved on. But I was still there. On that cliff, holding his name like a broken prayer. No address. Just a photograph. The lighthouse. Restored. Lit. I returned to Merrow's Hollow when I received the photo. The lighthouse, clean, painted. Someone had fixed what we started. But I never told anyone I was coming. And I didn't expect to find Rowan. He didn't look like Leo. But something in his quiet reminded me of him. Rowan was soft-spoken, carried salt in his hair, and wore gloves even when it was warm. He was restoring old maps. Said he liked places that changed slowly. We talked late into the night. He didn't ask about Leo, but he knew. Some people disappear, he said, and others become part of the places they loved. I found it behind the stove. His handwriting. Our plans. Leo had never planned to leave. The journal was full of sketches. Our names. A design for the lighthouse, scrawled next to a phrase. When you return, I will be here. Rowan built it. Every object told a story. And suddenly, so did I. He built me a room in the lighthouse. Fragments of Leo. Photos. Pebbles we'd skip. His favorite coffee mug. 1,000 small memories I thought I'd lost. And when I touched them, I remembered what it felt like to be seen. You don't have to move on. You just have to move. Rowan kissed me. I didn't stop him. And then, in the quiet afterward, I cried. Not because it hurt, but because it didn't. I still loved Leo. But maybe I could learn to love again. I went to the cliff, not to say goodbye, but to say thank you. The sun was setting. The sea was calm. And for the first time, I let myself speak his name without breaking. I hope you know, I never stopped waiting. But I'm ready now. As I turned to leave, the lighthouse turned on. No one was there. No wires. No generators. Just light. And I smiled. Some love stays with you. Not like ghosts, but like gravity. And when the tide returns, I'll be here. Subscribe for more videos like this.